Welcome back to Sunday Vibes 1 and all. Man United versus Arsenal this weekend. I'm already feeling the nerves. But first, we're going to answer some of your questions. As you can see, Georgios Wright joins us in
Georgie,
the
right.
As does Christopher Hamill. First question comes from Elmas Jr. 1. He says, what is going to be the biggest transfer to the Premier League this summer? Georgie, right. Kick us off.
It has to be one of Madrid's bench players. So
yes.
It's either going to be Isco, Asensio, or James.
Not Asensio.
And it's going to be James.
Yeah.
Isco's like indispensable for them now. He's so good. He's so good. Asensio is unbelievable. And James is just one who's going to miss out.
Big money as well. How much do you reckon you go for?
Isco makes me cream my pants every time I watch him, mate. He's that good. He's in the ascendancy, isn't he? But what was your question?
James, where's he
How
going?
much
How
will
much
he
for?
go for? Ooh, well, still, I mean, his goals and assists are still pretty high this season, aren't they, when he has played?
Yeah, very much.
I think he's contributed to 70 odd goals in 105 appearances.
For me, he's got PSG written all over him.
Yeah?
I reckon Spurs might go for him.
No,
if they get
I think he could be a very savvy transfer for Spurs. Yeah, very glamorous.
It's
I'm
about
not very
time.
un-Spurs like though.
If they want to reach the next level, they need a blockbuster signing for once.
But I'll be honest, I think one of their strongest areas is just off the striker. I.e. Dele Alli and Christian Eriksen doing a very good job in there as it is. Heung-min Son comes off the bench when they need an impact. Why spend £60 million or £50 million on a player that you've already got in that position?
That's very true. Dele Alli's almost a second striker now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Eriksen's pretty irreplaceable in that team.
How much is James going to improve on what's Eriksen got 20 odd goals and assists? Dele's got 20 goals alone, so is he going to go and score 25 goals and get 20 assists? I'm not so sure he is. I think that they've got more than adequate cover in that area.
I mean, he's been long touted for United, hasn't he? But again, you boys,
don't
very
think so.
healthy in terms of people in those wide positions. Juan Mata has created a chance every 35 minutes this season for United, a team best, and you know he'd probably likely be the one that would be replaced, wouldn't he? Should a big summer transfer come in? I
think PSG, absolute spot on move. They'll spend big money to get him there. They'll give him big wages and guarantee him game time. I also think he would be a good signing for Chelsea. So replacing Pedro on that right hand side, so you have a front three of Hazard. Costa's probably going to go anyway. It is safe to assume. So probably Costa, a new striker, and James I think is deadly in terms of creativity. But yeah, PSG written all over him.
I mean, is Unai Emery necessarily going to be there next season though? Would they commit to spending £60 million without a manager in place? I think if he loses the league, he's gone, isn't he?
He is. We are kind of getting a bit off topic anyway because it is to the Premier League. Another name being touted, Antoine Griezmann. Probably going to leave this summer. I think it's safe to say alongside.
I think it's a dead cert that he's going to United now. I think it's pretty much done.
Really?
You got some sort of inside information?
I mean, no. I just think it makes sense for every party that he goes
Especially now Zlatan.
Commercially, United drooling all over him, aren't they?
They are. I wonder though whether he is the right type of player for Jose Mourinho. Obviously, commercially makes a lot of sense, but Jose throughout his whole career has favoured big target men number 9.
He's not a Jose number 9, is he?
He's really not a Jose number 9. If he's signed by Jose, I wonder whether he might be played a bit wider by Jose than we were used to. I think he might sign another striker. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk this week about Belotti being signed by Man United, playing through the middle. We've had Lukaku linked as well.
Belotti would be a gamble for a club like United.
A big gamble. But for me, Griezmann isn't a Mourinho type signing. But having said that, he is such an Ed Woodward type signing. Ed Woodward signs off the transfers. A couple of other names we've got written down here. Morata, potentially.
Yeah, Morata and Koulibaly could be two big moves to Chelsea, couldn't they? They've been long touted as well throughout the season. I think Conte should Diego Costa leave, and today we've seen reports of him going for £75 million to China on a £30 million a year contract.
Mental.
Which is fucking outrageous.
Matt Law reporting that.
I think they won't go for a blockbuster signing. That they've got Hazard. They've got their star man. I think they'd use that money to strengthen in a couple of areas. Koulibaly, obviously providing defensive cover. Morata as well, I think is really underrated. Another one who's done exceptionally well when he started for Real Madrid this season.
One name we still haven't mentioned, Kylian Mbappe. Now the 18-year-old, obviously everybody's heard about the tearing Ligue 1 apart, over 20 goals already, and he is just 18 years old. Monaco apparently wanting 120 million euros for this man. Di Marzio midweek reported that Man United had a £70 million offer turned down for him already, although Smelt a bit fishy, seeing as that came out the day before that they played an Italian team, clearly just trying to unsettle the young Frenchman before such a big game. But he is a blockbuster signing. He could be a Man United signing. He's the sort of player that would cause massive uptake in stock prices.
125 million
for an 18-year-old.
Big risk, but then if you are signing a player that is going to play for you for the next 15 years and is going to score 20 goals a season for 15 years, is it worth it?
Well, it's like football, would it be worth it over the next decade? It's like, it makes sense. It makes sense for a team to gamble.
I think it's too early. I think he needs at least one more season.
I was just about to say, I think, did your boy Paul Scholes recently say that Marcus Rashford is better than Kylian Mbappe?
That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I mean, both burst onto the scene in a similar manner. Mbappe more so.
I mean, Rashford hasn't scored 24 goals.
Well, last season, what did he get? 14? 15?
I don't think he got that many.
In all competitions?
He got some big goals. He got some big goals.
But yeah, that would be a bit of a sucker punch for Rashford, though.
It would be a sucker punch for Rashford, but equally, I think Mbappe isn't ready to play a full 60 game as United have played this season in the Premier League at 18. It's too much to ask. I think it's a move too early. He needs to stay at Monaco for one more year at least, and then he'll get his dream move to Real Madrid because Benzema's getting no younger. It's the perfect fit.
Yeah.
It's the perfect fit. Real Madrid signed their next Galactico, Kylian Mbappe, massive money, summer of 2018, I think.
Monaco do well to keep half of that squad together.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've been talking for a long time. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below.
K Walks microphone emoji has the next question. He or she says it's from Twitter. Oh, thank you. If you want to send your questions in to next week, hit us up on these Twitter handles. They're on screen somewhere around here. It says, who is to blame for the demise of Arsenal? Is it Wenger, the players, the board, or all of the above? Now, George is very keen to speak about this in a second, but firstly, I'm laying it at the feet of Arsene Wenger, first and foremost.
Oh, yeah.
Not good enough tactically, not enough commitment, poor signings. The man hasn't progressed and evolved along with the Premier League. The Premier League has outgrown him in the last 5 to 10 years, both in tactics and in monetary spending on players. I'm sorry to say, Wenger, you're not what you once were. It's Wenger.
Well, yeah, this was a man who was at the forefront when he arrived in terms of sports science, in terms of nutrition. I was more inclined to blame the players, but in recent times he's adjusted to this 3-4-3, and I feel like he's kind of balked under the pressure of being asked to do something that both he and his squad are maybe a little bit uncomfortable with. Watching that back three, it's
no different.
The players, though, I don't know how you can blame the players.
Dumbfounds me.
Because he's had, for the last, 12 years, 12 different squads, or at least like 6 you could say in that time, and every one has been a failure. Every single one. So you cannot lay the blame at 80 to 90 players' feet.
I think that's a bit harsh because they've finished top 4 and won 2 FA Cups within that duration.
It's not good enough.
They've not got a squad capable of challenging for the league.
They should have, though.
They should have, having spent. I mean, Jacques got 40 million. Was a mistake for that amount of cash. But tell you, I'm going to throw this over to George. He's the Arsenal fan.
Yeah,
I actually don't care that much. I think I'm actually bored of listening to Pato, to George, to Temps behind the camera discuss it. Don't care. Go on, you take over, mate.
I'll try and keep it as succinct as possible, but on the board, you got Kroenke.
Yeah.
His teams he owns, on the franchise he owns, has won the title in like 19 years. So Denver Nuggets, St. Louis Rams, no, the LA Rams. He's an NHL team.
You're saying he's all about the money?
Yeah, Colorado Rapids, ain't won anything. So on his board, you've got his son, who wants Thierry Henry to be the next manager, which is mental. You got Lord Harris of Pecknar.
All right.
Yeah.
Peckham.
Just a toff, doesn't really know anything. You got Chip Keswick, it's pretty much the same. And then you got little Ken Fry, who's a club legend, been at the club since he was 12. He's 82. So I mean, it's not really fresh. And I kind of feel sorry for Gazidis because he's just a commercial executive. It's not his job to be like that. And he's the one who wants to change things. He wants to bring in direct football. He wants to renew the coaching staff.
So you're saying it's jobs for the boys at the minute?
Yeah, there's no footballing people on the board.
Right.
And then you get to Wenger, you get, as Joe said, we've got like loads of different squads and they've all been rubbish.
So maybe he's got too much on his plate then?
Yeah, he has.
He's got too much power at the club.
Yeah, exactly.
We were talking to Ted Newton on Continental Club about a month ago, and he was saying that the modern day manager does not have the time to look for diamonds in the rough. We're talking about Monchi at Sevilla, and maybe Wenger needs a director of football until you transition to a new manager. Getting rid of him now and employing who is you're gonna have a Moisey situation.
But the thing is with Wenger is that he has said in the past he will absolutely refuse to work for a director of football.
Well, maybe he should be told.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's got so much power. You can't just take that power away from him like that. You can't do that. He's been there for too long, and with Wenger himself, his coaching staff has been the same since he's been there. Joe Payton is the worst goalkeeping coach in history. There's been no goalkeeper that's improved under Joe Payton ever. Chesney said he learnt more in 6 months in Rome than he did in 12 years at Arsenal.
Wow.
Fabianski refused to acknowledge him and just went with the other one, who he brought to Swansea with him. So we're left with him, with Joe Payton.
And Czech hasn't improved, although he is ageing.
Yeah, with Czech, he's aged.
He's been solid.
Yeah, he's been alright, but he still looks really shaky.
Yeah.
And then I think it's harsh to lie down players because there's just no system. If you say to like any fan, what do you think? Well, first thing you think of when you think of Liverpool is like the gauge press.
Yeah.
First thing when you think of Chelsea is high press, Kante, box to box, whatever.
Yeah.
Arsenal, what is there?
But when you hear Walcott after they lose, captaining the side after they lose to Crystal Palace, saying, "Yeah, we turned up and we could tell they wanted it more."
Yeah.
Is it Wenger's fault for not G'ing up the players, or should the players as professionals have the onus? Should that be the onus be upon themselves to do that?
I've always thought the mentality of the players comes from the manager.
A reflection of the manager.
Yeah, and it's instilled from the manager. And the fact that we've changed, because changing formation doesn't mean you change the system. There's no difference for us playing forward at the back, 2-3 at the back. There's literally no difference. And I feel, to be fair, I think this squad is not that bad. I think it's one of the best squads we've had in a while.
It is strong.
But it's just, Wenger's not up to it anymore. If you give Allegri or Conte that squad, you'd see him not 17 points behind Spurs, put it that way. You wouldn't see that.
That is a lot.
I mean, statistically, you were overperforming last season, and you're underperforming this season, aren't you? So
I have to say though, I think even if you had Allegri in that team, I don't think it's as strong depth-wise as you think. I think there are certain players in there that are very good. That defence is shaky. Behind Koscielny, Rob Holding, Mustafi and Gabriel are not up to scratch playing a back three and winning a Premier League title. They're just not in terms of depth. You look at the depth behind Chelsea's, they've got Christensen out on loan. They don't need that much, and he's absolutely fantastic, bossing it in the Bundesliga. Kurt Zuma can't get a game in that defence. I mean, it's so strong all the way through that I'd worry about Arsenal playing three at the back under either Allegri or Conte. I don't think it would change that much defensively.
Well, I think it's a testament to how good Koscielny is that in all of the crap squads he's been in, whoever his partners, Giroud, Scalacci, whoever, Marlon, the world's shakiest defenders, that he's always looked really good.
he actually won that tie against Bayern Munich, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
In terms of the minutes he played, he won it 2-1. What a legend.
But
anyway,
it's just the club is rotten to the core, and it needs a director of football. The best thing to do is Wenger to leave, a director will come in, and a new manager to come in, and just redo the coach staff, at least work from there upwards.
I think a director of football is harder to find than you expect. I think it's really hard. I think if you bring in Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, which I've been hearing is the potential rumours.
Overmars.
He's manager of finance.
Overmars. Jesus
Do you know what his nickname is in Ajax, Overmars? Neto, because he cares about net spend. That's all he cares about. So
It's also a budget supermarket in the north. But that's a good shout. I mean, like Bayern Munich and Dortmund, they have Zorc, don't they? And who's it?
Sammer
was he's got
at Bayern Munich, but they re-employ ex-players, don't they? Yeah. So that culture,
like football,
that pedigree, culture of excellency continues. Whereas Arsenal haven't gone about that. Like Vieira slipped through the net. Henry slipped through the net. So
Ljungberg's gone as well.
Ljungberg's gone. Yeah, I agree. But what do you think at home? What is Arsenal's biggest problem? The players, the board, the manager, the fans, maybe? Let us know in the comments below. Dhruv Goswami has the next question. He says, which team in the Prem does the best transfer business and has the best youngsters? Christopher Hammer, what do you reckon?
That's two questions.
Cheeky.
Drew. Very cheeky. Best business, what, like the last year?
Yeah, we'll say this season.
Okay, I know Manchester City have spent an awful lot. I think 270 million net spend, but you can't argue it's been well spent. I mean, the likes of John Stones, Gabriel Jesus looks a snippet at 23 or 28, whatever it was. The likes of Sane, who looks like he's going to be an absolute well-beater. He's progressed incredibly well this season. Claudio Bravo, topsy-turvy season. But the alarming thing is, they've spent that much and they still need a goalkeeper, 2 fullbacks, centre-back cover. So I think the next summer will be interesting for them. But in terms of youngsters, it's hard to look beyond someone like Spurs or Southampton.
I think what Southampton have done over the last couple of years in particular is incredible. Despite losing their best players every season,
regenerate
always done well. Like they lost Mane, Nathan Redmond stepped up. They needed goals last January they brought in Charlie Austin who banged goals in front. They brought Gabbiadini,
he looks like a really good piece of business.
And then you've got players like Ward-Prowse in there. You've got Stevenson,
the centre back.
Jack Stevens.
And it's just what they've done with being like decimated every year, even with their managers every year, always coming back and just staying ambitious and competing.
Yeah, I agree. I actually think the Premier League does pretty poor transfer business, mainly because everybody knows they've got fucking loads of money, so then they just sort of rinse them for money, for extra cash. I mean, would another club have paid 50 million euros for Leroy Sané? Would Bayern Munich have paid that much for Leroy? I'm not so sure. You look at some of Bayern Munich's transfer dealings recent years, the likes of taking Lewandowski for a free, Hummels for a free. Even this season, the likes of taking Rudy from Schalke, along with Nicolas Soule for absolute pennies. That kind of
Hoffenheim,
from Hoffenheim. That kind of business, it stands out to me in comparison to the Premier League, where we're signing good players and young players, but for fucking loads of money. Dortmund, who's won their belly for 15 mil.
That's expensive.
A Premier League team takes him for 60.
I think the better business is done mid-table. In the Prem, you've got the likes of, Rondon looks like great business for West Brom. Shaqiri, Afellay, Bojan going to Stoke, and Arnautovic. Help me out with some more here.
I'm not too sure.
Leicester and Ndidi.
I think Stoke is a bit of an odd one because I think those players are particularly average in terms of they had a couple of good seasons at a big club and then faded extremely quickly.
Like
Bojan obviously can't settle. He's now in Germany. Afellay not lit the world away. So
injured, hasn't he?
I'd say Shaqiri underwhelming, other than probably 4 or 5 games where he's really shown up for Stoke City.
But how much did he cost? 15?
But see, that strikes me as a lot for Stoke City. 15 million. When Borussia Dortmund are taking Ousmane Dembele for 15 million, is that a good deal?
In the last couple of years, it's just gone mental, hasn't it? People like Crystal Palace can afford to pay £32 million for Christian Benteke. Teams like West Brom, I've seen this week, have been linked with the likes of William Carvalho, who was with Manchester United year after year, 2 or 3 years ago, for £13 million. As you say, I think you're going to see average Prem teams bring in big names, but for big money. Not necessarily conducting good business or being savvy, but overpaying.
If we're talking about this summer, I have to be honest, as much as everybody will call me biased, United did fantastic business this summer. Zlatan, Pogba, Eric Bailly, all been very, very good this summer. Mkhitaryan, he's done okay, Mkhitaryan. He's probably got 10 goals and assists combined. That's not too bad, and we know he's going to get better. I know everybody's going to call me biased, but in terms of Premier League business, of signing players that have all performed, all 4 of those have been good for us. All 4 of them, particularly Zlatan on a free.
What about Conte?
28 goals.
Bringing in Alonso,
very good business.
Like his 3rd, 4th, 5th options, and just
Marcos
making
Alonso,
them gel. Bringing the best out of Pedro.
Kante, you think? That's very true. Conte has had a worldy summer. Be interesting to see what he does this summer actually, because I feel like Chelsea, a few areas they can improve as well.
They can bring Van Dijk, couldn't they?
Yeah, and I kind of feel like they could sign an upgrade on Matic. I know he's a good, solid player, but I do wonder whether there's a better man out there in the market. I wonder whether they could sign someone like Mateo Kovacic from Real Madrid this summer if he's being let go, and maybe make him fit. I saw a few radars flying around from Ted Nixon last night that Kovacic's stats compared to Moussa Dembele's stats are extremely similar.
Really? It's interesting.
I would really like to see Kovacic at Chelsea.
Yeah, definitely. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below.
Max Niederfer has the next one. He says, which team in Europe has the best bench? #Sunday vibes. I think we're all in agreement here, are we not? Real Madrid? Yeah. As you look further than that, I mean, some of the players that have been on the bench this season, not every week, but Isco, James, Varane, Pepe, Danilo, Kovacic, Baller, Contrao as well in there. Asensio, Morata as well. Morata doesn't always get game time, does it? It's very deep. Bayern Munich also?
Yeah, the likes of Thomas Muller, Douglas Costa, Bernat, I mean Rafinha, Sanchez that they bought for how much?
Yeah, 50 mil.
Yeah, Kingsley Coman.
It's a good bench. It's a very good bench.
They're hoarding talent.
They are. What do you reckon, George?
I think Real Madrid's the obvious one, but Juventus' bench is pretty strong. I mean, you've got Piaka, who lit up the Euros when he played for Croatia.
Marquisio. Yeah, Marquisio.
Yeah, Marquisio.
Regani, that young Italian centre-back that Arsenal has been after for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, Benatia.
Yeah, Meli
He's been there, he's on loan from Bayern as well, so it's pretty fucking strong names. But what do you think at home? Who has the strongest bench, Real, Bayern or Juventus? Vote in the poll, just him. Michael Patseus has the next question, and brace yourself, lads. This could be the most important question you'll ever be asked. Honestly.
Go on.
Chinese or Mexican? Chris Hamill.
All I heard then was the... what's that?
Someone order a Chinese!
Yeah, what's that programme? The Millionaire thing? Chris Tarrant.
Yeah.
He wants to be a millionaire. Mate, films, football and fajitas, that's my motto. It's got to be Mexican.
Oh, like that. Films, Mexican. What? Good films in Mexico or what?
No, the two aren't related.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. George?
It's tough. It is tough. I mean, you can't beat a burrito every once in a while. You can't beat a Chinese every once in a while, but...
It's the most exciting I've ever seen, George.
But a Chinese is got...
Yeah, a Chinese. I'm going to go for Mexican. La Little P, Chicharito swings it for me. That and burritos.
Yeah.
Rap cheek, big up.
They're Indian.
Final question of the day comes from Aaron Dixon. He says, what is the best modern day formation, lads? George, you've got a controversial answer. I hear it brewing in your chest. Let that heat out.
Well, it's more...
That's just pneumonia.
It's more to do with just the system rather than the formation. So formation is just... If you're fluid attacking it, the formation doesn't exist anymore. It's all about a defensive shape of the formation. More than
Interesting.
anything. And just look at Arsenal. We changed from a 4-2-3-1 to a 3-4-3. Just look just as shit as before. The same system.
Yeah, but is that not because of the poor coaching methods that have been put into that formation that you don't fully understand it?
Well, that's sort of the whole point of a system. I mean, you look at Conte's system where Conte is always a roaming destroyer, basically, in his formation. That's the system. Matches is always a deep one. Conte is always up and down, up and down. In Arsenal, you don't have that, and with Conte's defence, you have Azpilicueta, who is a natural fullback. He'll go forward whenever necessary. David Luiz likes to bring the ball out from the back as well and act as a deep playmaker as well.
Yeah.
So it's literally all about a system. I don't think more in recent years, a formation hasn't necessarily been like the crux of a success. It's more what's being implemented alongside that.
Yeah,
true.
I mean, Pep said as much, didn't he, in his book? If we don't sell a few copies of Pep Confidential today, then we're doing something wrong. But he says in the book that formations might as well be telephone numbers. It is all about the system you play. Like at Bayern, his hybrid between Bayern and Barca was, I want to get Bayern to the halfway line by stepping out together, which minimises, in his eyes, minimises risk. And then once you get to the halfway line, I want you to be, which is Barca, once you get to the halfway line, I want you to be Bayern. I want you to hit diagonal balls, get crosses in, and I want to score off the second or third rebound or a defensive mistake. What that was really interesting, it is all about that central system, isn't it?
I have to say though, I know the formation, I agree with you guys, I think that system is far, far more important than formation, but formation-wise, structure, and in particular defensive structure like you talked about, it's incredibly hard to beat a 3-4-3.
Yeah.
With 2 wing-backs, 3 at the back. I think you've seen Juventus use it exceptionally well. You've seen Chelsea and Italy during the Euros under Conte as well use it exceptionally well. At times as well, I personally think it would suit England to use that. I thought when we went to Germany, we played 3 at the back. It was kind of unseen. I thought we played really, really well over there. It helps your defensive transitions because your fullbacks can drop in. You can sit as a low block. You have to say to the opposition, come and break us down. That's what Juventus did against Monaco on Wednesday. Went, look, come and break us down towards the end of the game. We're going to sit back here. We're going to drop Dani Alves right back. We're going to drop, who's the left back? We're going to drop Sandro right back, and then just come and break us down. We've got 3 big 6'+ central defenders. Put crosses in all day. We'll have you on toast. And I think the same can be said of Chelsea. As fluid as they have been going forward, thanks to Eden Hazard, and as good as they are on the counter attack. One thing that's really defined Chelsea is they have been so structurally sound at the back. Everybody knows their role. Azpilicueta knows exactly where he needs to be in that 3 at the back. I think Arsenal's biggest problem when they've shifted from a 4 to a 3 is people don't understand what they're doing. Oxlade-Chamberlain's not a natural wing back. I think he's done brilliantly to get the best out of Victor Moses this season, Antonio Conte, and transition him so quickly. Same with Marcos Alonso. Is Nacho Monreal the left back? Is Gibbs the left back? I don't think people know the roles well enough to play a 3 at the back. Whereas if you know your roles and you get it right, it's almost impossible to break down a 3 at the back system.
I mean, yeah, at Chelsea, when they reverted to that 3-4-3 really early in the season, I think it was quite interesting. I'll see if I can dig out these stats in my head, but I remember seeing that when they dropped that back 3 and Cahill and Azpilicueta played just, obviously they flanked David Luiz, didn't they? They made 10 times more tackles than they were doing in a 4-4-2. David Luiz made significantly less because he was a sweeper, but I think they've got the right personnel to execute it, and they've found an exceptional wing back in Victor Moses, which none of us are expecting this season, and Alonso's been a surprise package of the season kind of as well, hasn't it? But Arsenal, Nacho Monreal in that back 3 doesn't work. I quite like a 4-2-3-1 with a double pivot.
Yeah,
gotta say,
it's effective. It's been effective for a long
I mean,
time.
that's what I play on Football Manager. You know, and I swear by it. But yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah, I agree. There we have it. So that's all we've got time for today, but make sure you get your questions in the comments right now. Using the hashtag SundayVibe, we'll try and answer as many as we can next week. Before we do anything else though, it's Man United Arsenal today. Let's get some predictions. George Wright.
0-0.
Ooh. Christoph.
I think Man United are going to win it by a goal. I'm going to go 2-1.
I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. A classic Jose Mourinho and a classic Dorchester United this season. What can you do? But what do you think the score is going to be? Let us know in the comments below. And make sure you check out Sky Sports as well this afternoon. That's right, they're showing the game live. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.